Back at it on the farm today. I've got the boys loaded up on the tractor and they're gonna go fill up the tractor with some mulch because we were putting in our trees today. So we're gonna put some bare root trees in the ground. I'm still kind of making last minute decisions where I want them. I was originally thinking about lining the drive right here. Whoop! Right here with them, which my husband still really wants. We may do that. They're gonna be small trees. I'm gonna prune them small. I'm also thinking about putting them on the west side of that garden. I haven't decided, but the boys are suiting up. They're gonna go put all the wood chips in the wagon so I have something to mulch them with after we get them in the ground. So that's the goal today. Hopefully we'll get our fruit bushes in as well if we have some extra time. And I've got to get the rest of my potatoes in. So that is the goal for today. It's the day for Easter. So we want to make sure we have time to color eggs and do those things, but we're working hard today on the garden. So let's get after it. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I've got a glorious feeling. Everything's going my way. Oh, what a beautiful day. Days like this in Michigan are amazing. Of course, I'm singing an Oklahoma song. If you don't know the musical Oklahoma, you should. So I think I've decided to put my orchard on the west side of my garden over here. Since I'm doing small trees, I can group them as close as 2 feet apart. And if I put them sort of in a box type, I'm gonna go inside, sit down. Sit down. No. He wants to be part of the fun, but he does too many naughty things, so he doesn't get to. Sit down. Sit. Sit down. You're fine. This is Barney, if you guys haven't met him. Anyway, if I put him in like a box style, they'll pollinate each other better. They'll create variety, be easier to harvest. And again, I'm only going to grow them about yay big. And Grow a Little Fruit Tree is the book I'm basing a lot of this off of. So that's where I think I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to do it right here to the west side of this garden. It'll frame it nicely. It can provide some shade. Since they're smaller, it won't be too bad for any sort of plants I put over here that might need some afternoon shade. So I keep that in mind. And maybe eventually I will, consider how I plant things based on those trees. But I'm not going to put them too close to the garden fence. And again, since they're short, they won't shade them like a big tree. So anyway, I'm excited to get these in the ground. I have 2 peaches, 2 apples, and I think 2 pears. Here's my sidekick, my hardworking man, who's been so supportive of all of this, which I love. I call him Puppy. Let's see what else I've got over here. And these are what are known as bare root trees. So when I bought them, they weren't potted. They're in sort of like a neutral mix that keeps them dormant. And from what I've read, it keeps them healthier and allows them to do more what you want them to do than what they want them to do. So these trees are probably about 5 or 6 feet tall, and I'm actually going to prune them this morning to about knee high. So we'll get them in the ground, and then I'll stand next to them and I'll prune them about knee high. And what that's going to allow to happen is for that base stem that I'm creating to become the trunk of the tree. So a more solid trunk to keep it short. What? Oh, just put it right here. There's my son on the tractor bringing the wood chips. Yeah, it's piling here. And so I'm gonna set this up so I can get these trees. My husband needs me to get these things placed. So I'll be right back. We're trying to do about a 2-foot hole here, like a bowl shape, a basin shape, and about a foot down. This will allow the roots to fill out and give it room for it to move and grow, and the water to penetrate, because the water is really important for that first plant. And then after that, rain is sufficient. You don't really have to come out and water your trees like you do your garden, which is nice. especially if you start with the bare root trees. If you start with a tree that you bought potted, you have to treat them differently. It's a lot more finicky than these bare root trees. So yeah, you're almost there. I would say take a little bit more off there. Yep.
Something like that.
Yep. Yep. And then it'll be 2 feet from, we can do 2 feet from the edge of the
Yeah,
hole.
that's what this one, and then we'll be able to measure.
Okay. I need to get water though, and put it in some water real quick. So we have our 6 holes for our fruit trees. You can see we spaced them about 2 feet apart. You can actually do as close as 18 inches, but I wanted room to be able to walk through here and feel like I could have space to harvest. So this is not even covering that much ground. I'd have to do a measurement, but my initial thinking here is probably 5-6 feet wide by 8 feet long. So not taking up that much space. I'm really excited about doing this smaller fruit tree idea. So we will finish after lunch. Grandma bought us pizza, of course. We'll come out here, we'll set them in the ground, backfill them, put 10 gallons of water per plant, the first initial planting. Make sure they're nice and sturdy. Then I'll do my cut, which I will make sure in video and show you guys. And then hopefully we're gonna go get all the blueberries and raspberry bushes in the ground today as well. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 plants there that I'm gonna put inside the garden. And I know there actually are blueberry and raspberry plants here on the property somewhere. I don't know where, but I wanted to kind of at least have some in the garden that I could maintain, send the kids out to get the fruit from, and that animals wouldn't eat. So yeah, so I'm excited to really see all this come together. It's really fun. This is our little Gus Gus, our Netherland dwarf male rabbit, who's just the cutest thing in the world. I'm kind of letting him get out and explore a little bit this morning. I might regret this. I might regret this if he gets where I can't reach him, but he is just the cutest little thing ever. Look at him. What are you doing, Gussie? What are you doing? Look at that little face. Yeah, see, he'll go back to his cage. He won't go too far, I don't think. You're not gonna go too far, are you? He's talking to Pepper. He's making Pepper feel jealous. Aren't you? Are you jealous? Yes, yes you are. I know. Okay, so here we have our naked root ball that we're about to put down into the ground, our basin that we built. So we're actually not gonna put this right at the bottom of the basin. We're gonna hold it and we're gonna backfill in underneath it and around it about 2 or 3 inches. And then we're gonna put in about 10 gallons of water per tree. And then we'll put the dirt on top of that. Now what I wanna show you is this little notch you see right here. This is called the Scion or the Scion or it's S-C-I-O-N. I'm not even sure how to pronounce it. But you see how you have this concave and convex shape here. What you wanna do is you wanna make sure that this part is out of the ground. And this is where they grafted the tree. And so ideally you want this part of the tree to face south, because this is the more vulnerable part where they actually did the grafting, and you don't want this to get what they call sunburn from the south sun. So my plan is to put these trees in the ground to make sure that this curve out, which I think is convex. I never remember which one's which. I want the out curve to face south, and then right here where this graft was to face north, so that's protected from the sun. And then we're gonna backfill, and then we're gonna mound the wood chips on top of that so that it gives a place for the water to go and fill up whenever it's being watered by the rain or by us for the first week or so. So that's the plan. We'll put this on time lapse or just video. nothing better than a boy in his tractor. All right, so we have our 6 trees in the ground. We've watered them so far with 2 gallons of water just to kind of bring the soil down. As you can tell, I've mounded it as best I can with the dirt, but I'm not gonna press it down. I don't wanna compact this. The whole idea is for this to be loose. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna take these wood chips over here, Kinley. We're probably gonna need more than this, but we're gonna mound these wood chips around it, and that's gonna be sort of like a reservoir for the tree so the water can get down there easily. Because what we don't want is we don't want an inverted ground around the trees. We want it level or up, and over time it'll settle down. So we're gonna come back in and cover up these with the wood chips. Right now what I want to show you is the pruning that I'm gonna do on these trees. And this seems very counterintuitive because you've got this nice tree even with some leaves growing right here. Kinley, can you zoom in on those leaves? But what I want to do is I want to establish a really solid trunk down here because I want these trees to branch out like this. Follow my hand, darling. Branch out like this into like a bowl shape so that it only gets to about this high. So I really want to knock down this main trunk down to about my knee level. So my knee's about right here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna cut at an angle, and I'm gonna cut away from the sun at an angle so that vulnerable part is facing north. Can you get that, hun? Yep. So I'm gonna right about my knee, thereabouts, and I'm gonna do a nice diagonal cut. And that seems crazy to lose all of this, but what you're doing is you're setting up to get a stronger trunk with branches that can actually handle the fruit that will grow on it. Because these branches right here will not be able to sustain and hold fruit this small. So we're giving it a better start right now to go ahead and prune them this small. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the rest of them. Kinley, you can film this if you want. And all of these already have buds all around the base of it. So all of those buds will start filling up with branches and leaves here in the next few weeks. So I'm right about knee height.
Mom, what are you doing?
I'm gonna cut it right there. Yep. Okay.
What are you doing?
I am pruning.
That's a tree.
Now what I need my daughters to do is make sure that I keep a tag on all of these. Madeline, can you find that other apple tag right here? And we need to find some way to tape that on there. Actually, I can also video what these are. We've got Red Haven peaches. Red Haven peaches. We've got Belle of Georgia peach up here on the east side. So we're gonna buckle those on. And I've got 2 Kiefer pears here in the back. Kinley, are you paying attention? And then 2 Honeycrisp apples. So here we go. Madeline, I need you to get out of the frame, please. Right at knee height. I'm diagonaling towards the north. That's actually the Belle of Georgia. All of them. We've got the 2 pears. Okay, so what I need you to do, Charlie, is I need you to take these tags and make sure that they are, whoopsie, I'm stepping in it. Do not step around the trees because we don't want to compact that. I am pruning these so that they can have a smaller, sturdier base.
You're a kid, Kinley. No, I'm not. I'm 12. You're
Right
still
here.
a kid.
You need to do that for me. All right, so orchard is done. Now we're in the west garden. We're gonna lay all these blueberry and raspberry bushes in. Super stoked about that. So basically the same process. You dig a hole twice as deep, if not 3 times as deep as the actual root ball, so it has room for those young roots to start growing and penetrating the soil. Once they get stronger, they can penetrate that more compact soil, but they need that loose soil around it to be able to start growing and getting stronger initially. And then backfill them in and give them a really good water. And then for the first week or so, these these trees and bushes may need an extra water, extra 5 gallons or 2 gallons for the bushes to get going. But really after that, your rain, unless you live in a really arid place, is gonna be sufficient. So let's get these in, and I think we're gonna call it a day. As much as I could stay out here working all day, there are other people and things that need my attention. So we're gonna get her done. I did want to tell you the raspberry and blueberry plants that we are doing. I've got a pink lemonade blueberry plant, which I'm really excited about, so I can have pink blueberries. And then 2 Northlands and 2 Patriots. I remember that I like Patriot and Northland blueberry plants. We've got a 2 Canby raspberries, 2 Heritage raspberries, and then these other ones that are called a Jewel raspberry, which are both kind of the blackberry color, but they're actually raspberries and the red. So we have 2 of each variety, except for just the 1 pink lemonade plant that I bought as a full-grown plant. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 or 12 plants altogether. There you go. So everything's in. We definitely did not have to plant these blueberry and raspberry plants in as deep. We dug about a foot deep hole, but their roots were only about 1 inch or 2. So that crown, that right where the root meets the stem, goes right at surface level. And you want as much as the plant sticking above the ground as possible, but you want at least 2 inches of the roots under. So that didn't take long at all. And we mounted it with wood chips. We need a whole haul of wood chips for this entire garden. Right now we're just using what we've got. We're gonna give them each a gallon of water to drink, and then we're gonna call it a day. But these are pretty small plants, and so we're gonna have to come out and check them fairly regularly to make sure that they're not falling over, or if rain comes, they're being washed out. So let's pay a little bit more attention to these than we will the trees that are, bigger and sturdier. So anyway, good day's work. We're calling it a day, cleaning up and going in and doing Easter eggs. So happy Easter to you all. We'll see you next time.